For this tutorial, I'm going to create a background for my butterfly, and I'm going to show you how to use your butterfly symbol more than once if you need to use that later on with other symbols. It's very easy and efficient. So at the moment we've got our butterfly on our butterfly layer. We're going to create a new layer which automatically goes on top of the butterfly layer, and we want to call it background. Once you've done that, click on it and drag it below the butterfly layer because the background needs to be behind the butterfly. At the moment, it's blue. So if I go on my properties, you can see that there's nothing there to change the stage color because we're in the wrong tool. We're in the properties of the free transform tool. If I click on the arrow, there it is down there because that's a property of the arrow. If I click on my T tool, I've got properties of my type tool. Go on my razor, that's properties of the same thing as well. So it's whatever you click on, it might change the properties of it. So if we go on our arrow, we can see the stage. So if you want to change the color of your stage, click on your arrow and then click down here on your stage. So I like that color. It's a good blue sky color. I also I don't really want to do anything to this layer. Anything that I want to add in my background, I'm going to give it its own separate layer. So if I wanted to add a tree, I'd create a new layer, and then if I wanted to add clouds, I'd create a cloud layer. If I wanted to make flowers, I'd make a flower layer. So I'm going to make another layer, which is in between the butterfly and the background. I'm going to call that flower because I'm going to make a flower for the butterfly to be on. If I wanted the flower to move or animate, I'd make a symbol. But because my flower is not moving, I'm just going to draw it on the background now. I'm going to click on the butterfly and backspace because I want to be able to see my background a bit more clearly. But the butterfly is still there. I haven't actually deleted the butterfly completely. It's just not on my stage right now because I want to be able to see what I'm doing. So on my flower layer, make sure you're on the right layer. And make sure you're on number 1. I'm going to do a little bit of drawing. I'm going to draw a flower. Very simple, kind of stereotypical flower. You can put maybe a little bit more effort into it if you want to, make it look a bit more detailed, but I'm just showing you basics. I'll probably just quickly fill in it there. Get my petal color. Bit of yellow. Okay, good enough for me. So I've got this flower now. I see the flower is separate from the background. So if I wanted then to add some clouds, I'd make a new layer, make sure it's in the right order. Clouds, my number 1. Then I get my color, cloud that I want. I don't know what that color is. Try that color. Bit of a So anything that you decide to add, make sure it's on its own separate layer. Much easier if you make a mistake or if you decide you don't actually like it, if it's separate. Okay, so now I'm going back to my butterfly layer and I'm ready to add my butterfly, so I'm going to click and drag it where I want it to be. Now, see, I've got my color fill tool. I don't want to do that. I want to use my arrow tool to move it. Also, when you're on, make sure your playhead's on 1. You can use your free transform tool if you've made it too big, you're drawing too big or too small, and to shrink it or make it bigger and reposition so it looks good. Now let's press play and see what it looks like. Lovely. So that's a simple thing to do. Now, if I wanted to use my butterfly again, maybe I would then, it's as simple as just dragging it on. But the thing is, again, make sure it is on the right layer order and on its own separate. So butterfly 2. So I'm going to make sure it's on 1. So clicking on 1 over here, keyframe 1, clicking on the symbol over here and dragging it on. So I can reuse my symbol many times, not just once. So if you make a complicated, detailed symbol like a bird, and you want a flock of birds or a group of anything, you can make it once and just keep dragging it on there and use it a few times. You can also copy and paste symbols into other videos and and use them in other animations, and that's quite time efficient. You see my butterfly is actually the same green as the leaf. I don't particularly think that's a great idea. So I'm going to go back to my, I'm going to make these ones invisible. So I can just see my flower. This is why it's good to have it on separate layers. And I'm going to select the green color I want to change it to so it's different. And just click on the blue. And it's different. Very easy. And there we go. It's different color. That's why it's good to have it on layers. And they're going to flap at the same rate as also because they're the same symbol. And that's how you make a background simply, and that's also how you reuse your symbols.